and it almost smells like something. You know, it smells like baseball is in the air. So it's kind of cool. The little dude will play tomorrow, and my daughter, I think, has the weekend off from actually playing, but they're about to ramp up softball and baseball. So I love this time of year for that.
So I have to ask, are you one of those parents at the Little League games that are kind of, you know, getting all over the players and the ump and stuff if he's not calling the proper balls and strikes? I mean, are we going to see you in the stands get ejected or anything? Or are you more of a casual kind of parent?
Well, probably somewhere in between. I'm not getting ejected.
Okay.
But you know what I do? Here's the thing. I video most of their games. And there's two parts to the videoing. One is I don't want to yell at the umpires or say anything. That doesn't mean sometimes I won't kind of like say a little something. It just comes out.
Sure.
But it's never, I'm not one of those parents, like those guys.
Yeah.
I don't think I am, at least. But partly the reason I video is because I can at least stay behind the camera, talk to myself, not the umpires. The other part is I don't like sitting with like the moms in the stands. I say this all the time, and I say this with all due respect to the moms. Little League dads get a bad rap because Little League dads are the guy, and they can be awful, by the way. Little League dads can be awful. But Little League dads are the ones you see like on 2020, 15 years ago, and the ones that you see on like all these reality shows now, and they're the ones that make the TV. But the underbelly of sports parenting is in the moms. The drama the moms create is unbelievable. It's so undersold. Yeah. The moms most of the time are the problem.
Okay.
I'm just telling you. Okay. I've been around it long enough. And yeah, I blame my wife sometimes too.
It sounds like you're kind of calling a shot on her right there, man. I don't know.
I know how this works. I've studied it.
Fair enough.
But I will say this. Listen, if you have any competitive, the other part of like the Little League dad syndrome kind of thing, if you are competitive at all, which most people are, right? Whether you're playing Monopoly or trivia at the bar or an actual sport, it is hard to dial it back and stay reserved. Yeah. It's a very hard thing to do. Not going to lie. Yeah. And like if you're in a 1-1 game, even in 10-year-old baseball, and it's the 6th inning, it's intense. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's intense. It's not supposed to be. Most people from the outside will say it's crazy. Yeah. But I guarantee you if they had a kid in that spot, it's intense for them too. So I'm giving them a little bit of an out. I'm living it right now, man.
You're kind of making me nervous now, man, because like as you know, I have a 3.5-year-old, and we haven't had our first sporting event yet per se, but I can already tell I'm going to be an intense individual because even when we went trick-or-treating, I was getting upset with him because he wasn't getting enough Reese's Pieces so I could eat. He kept getting he was getting suckers and he was getting sweethearts, and I'm like, dude, get some Reese's Pieces, man. Why aren't you listening to me?
The gold.
Let's go. That's what we need in our house. We don't need any more suckers. But, he wasn't listening. So I guess we'll see how this pans out a couple years down the line.
That's awesome. Well, if you're getting fired up about Halloween, look out.
I know, man. I can't wait.
Speaking of, you might get fired up about one of the topics we're going to talk about today, UFC Fight Night. It's a big night in UFC. Listen, I'll admit it, come right out of the gates. I'm not totally into it. I won't pretend to know almost anything about it. I think it's when the big fights are, like I'll check it out tomorrow, but maybe even on a replay, some of the highlights. I don't think I'll be locked in and go find it and make sure I'm in front of my TV, or on ESPN Plus, front of my phone. But I get it. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of people into it. I'm that way a little bit with wrestling, too. There's a lot of people into it. And so it's a big night in your world. And I'm talking to you, your world. You live in it. Yes. So how big of a night is it, UFC? You're going to talk about it a little bit later on in the show, but just give us a quick little glimpse of how big tomorrow is. Yeah, it's going to be a huge night. Obviously, this is the first card that's going to be on ESPN. It's going to be featured on the ESPN Plus app. So obviously, the UFC is going to try to put on a really good show for their backers now of ESPN.